Let me just set it up here. Minus expenses.
I'm looking at that window.
Sorry. Hello, welcome to Press the Action Button, where two nerds talk about video games. My name is Newman.
And my name is Yusuf.
And today we have a bit of an incident already before we've even begun the podcast because Yusuf broke the bulb that we needed to record. So apologies if the lighting isn't quite right.
I didn't break the bulb, you broke the bulb, and knocked over everything else in the meantime.
I've been very clumsy today. But no, that was definitely Yusuf. But anyway, it's very good to hear from you all. Not that I can hear from you. It's very good to be here again.
You're having a bad day.
Yes, I am having a bad day. It hasn't been a great week. Yeah. Sam Bankman-Fried has tried to destroy my ability to... What's wrong?
Who?
Sam Bankman-Fried.
I don't know who that is.
SBF, FTX.
Oh, right, the crypto things.
Yeah, he's single-handedly tried to destroy my ability to earn a living. And he's actually been accused of playing League of Legends as Rome Burnt, by the way.
Who's Rome Burnt?
As Rome Burnt. As all the damage he did to
as crypto. Rome Burnt, sorry. I thought Rome Burnt was the name of like an infamous League of Legends profile character who was like, he was like, attacking people and stealing their gear or something in League of Legends.
He was just like single-handedly destroying hundreds of thousands of people's investments whilst playing League of Legends. Apparently, I can't validate that information, but apparently he was seen online. But to be fair, I thought about it and I was like, if I was in that much shit, I'd probably go and play a video game as well. So,
was it the thing though with George Bush when he found out the towers were hit? He was sitting in an elementary school and he was reading a book upside down. Yeah, because clearly he's like, this is an incredible situation and I need to think for a minute. But everyone's like, he's reading the book upside down. It's like, I mean, his mind's probably elsewhere.
How do we get out of this social faux pas? Yeah, I remember that. And the guy kept coming in and whispering to him, and he was just like, I guess I'll just sit here. But anyway, so it's been a bad week for me in my job. But, we have gaming, we've got games, so, life can't be that bad.
So it's been a tough week for you then, is it?
It hasn't been great, but, how's your week been?
It's okay. I've got this.
I
don't know really what happened to me. My thumb/wrist is quite sore.
Old age. I
don't think it is old age. I don't know how I hurt it. My wife was hinting it's carpal tunnel syndrome. I don't believe her.
Who said that? Your wife?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't think so. I don't know how I did it. It felt fine. But there's this weird thing where it clicks in and out of itself. Like it's a delayed movement when I do it.
That's your esports career over.
Is it? Yeah. I think it was over a long time ago. Mm-hmm. But I don't know what's happened with it. But you know what's really difficult in Ireland? Seeing a doctor.
Oh, don't start. I mean... I hate the medical system here, and I don't want to get on a big ramble, but like, my God, how could it be so bad? Like, it's just so hard to see a doctor, so hard to get a scan. I remember, like, I had to see a neurologist for like this issue I had, and like they were like, well, you might be waiting 18 months. I was like, 18 months? Like, I could be dying. It's like, yeah, well, that's the kind of wait time that you're looking at. And I was like, okay, great. So
it's mental. So our old GP, as you know, retired.
Oh yeah.
So I tried to call up another doctor's, and they're like, "No, we're full." I was like, "All right, well, the old guy's gone, so I don't have a choice anymore." So I called up a different one and I registered online. It takes 2 days to register to see a doctor.
God.
And then they got it. I was like, "Okay, can I have an appointment?" And they're like, "Ooh, I don't know."
That's going to be a problem.
A couple of days, and it's not public. It's private. Like
you're paying.
If you go for a GP in Ireland, you're paying for it. Like €60, isn't it now?
Yeah, mine's 65.
Yeah.
And can I just say, the person you tried to contact, who's my GP, his secretary is notoriously rude. Right. I mean, like, next time I go in there, I'm going to ask him, can I add you? And I bet you he'll be like, sure.
Yeah, I see. But like the weird thing was, it's just, I don't know how this works in Ireland. She was like, you can't join unless you're a member of UNPOST, the postal service of Ireland. I was like,
And what does that even mean? How do you remember?
I don't know.
I've sent letters before.
I called her, and for me, I thought she got like 2 phone connections mixed up because she was like, "Are you with Unpost?" And I go, "No, I want to become a patient of the doctor's surgery." And she's like, "Yes, and do you work for Unpost?" I was like, No, I don't. We're only taking Unpost workers." And I go, "What? What the hell does that mean?"
It sounds like they've got this list of go-to responses to like bat off potential patients because they've no time, and it's just like, here we go, Unpost, yes.
Confuse the shit out of them when I'm like, "Hi, my doctor is retired. Can I register for the other nearby doctor?" I'm afraid not unless you work for Unpost.
Are you lactose intolerant?
Yeah,
afraid not.
Yeah, so I couldn't do it. So I've had to wait now, and I'm going to go see a doctor on Monday, and he'll tell me what's up with my tongue.
You haven't seen a doctor yet for your wrist at all? Oh, okay.
No, I haven't been able to, because you can't, because I don't know if I need a scan. Also, I don't want to go wait 26 hours in an emergency room, because it's not that bad, and I don't want to waste anyone's time either,
you know? Forget about it.
So it'll be fine. But it's been hurting me for like over a week now, so I need to go and get it.
I was trying to tell him, guys, that I had this similar issue, and I'm 5 years older than you, and I went to the doctor with the same thumb pain. And he said, basically, he sent me for a scan. He's like, "Well, you were born with this, but it's just that you're old now." I kind of find like every time I go to the doctor now and I've got a complaint, his go-to response is, "Well, you're older now." I said, "I'm only 37. Like, I shouldn't be having these issues."
It doesn't sound right to me. I think your doctor's not trained.
He's a great doctor. But anyway, look, hopefully you get that resolved soon.
I didn't tell you this. I went to Lyrat Estate last week, which is a luxurious hotel. We got a wedding present from our maid of honour. So we got to stay in a fancy hotel and got like a massage and everything. And it was gotten like the cold baths and then the hot sauna and stuff afterwards.
Very nice.
It was very nice. Yeah, it was really good.
Is that maid of honour the doctor one? You could use her about now.
No, she's in Australia. Otherwise, I would have talked to her about it.
All the good doctors leave this country, guys, just so you know.
Yeah, so. She did go. Yeah. She's in Australia.
Right. Yeah, good. I'm glad you enjoyed it. No, I thought you were going to tell me some story about an arcade in Lyra Manor or something.
No, there wasn't really anything like that. They had this thing which I didn't expect. It's a very fancy hotel, and you go in, and there's like a lovely foyer area, and up on the top there's like it looks like a floating piano. It's on like a very small stand, but it's like kind of closed off from everything else. And when we went in earlier on, they were playing piano. I was like, "Oh, this is lovely." Later on, it was just like this guy with a guitar screaming out. It was so out of place. To a point where we had like some cocktails and we came back and we're like, "We get the hell out of here. This is terrible. It's so bad."
Zombie.
It's so bad. But yeah, it was weird. It was, but it was a nice experience. Got to enjoy it. Yeah.
What is a foyer?
It's an area with a reception, isn't it, where you're waiting around?
It's like one of those posh words people use, like, you know, veranda. Like, what's a veranda? It's just a fucking balcony.
It's a balcony, isn't it? Yeah. Same thing with an orangery.
Orangery?
It's a conservatory.
I've never heard that before.
Yeah,
I think you've got that word.
I didn't know that until because we got married, had an orangery apparently, and I thought it's where they grew oranges. There was loads of orange trees there, and it's like, the orangery, and they were like, "No, you idiot, it's a conservatory." I was like, "Oh, why didn't they call it that then?"
Yeah,
they can't charge you loads for getting married in a conservatory, I guess.
Words, yeah. Why did we have them?
Yes, not much else really happened to me. How about you?
No, nothing really. So it's been a quiet week. I did sell my wife's car, which I'm quite happy about. And my new Japanese car is coming next week on Friday. Looking forward to that. I hope it has one of those things where it talks to me in Japanese as I'm reversing, you know? I never want to know what it's actually saying.
Is it saying stop or go? I don't know.
Exactly.
One or the other.
Yeah.
I think your thinking is going to be like the episode of Simpsons where he thinks the Japanese toilet talks to him. I don't think it's going to be quite like that.
I remember that episode.
Are they go to Japan?
Yeah.
Yeah. He thinks he's like, the toilet said thank you to me. And again, like it has all the rainbow colours in it.
Oh, yeah. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
No, but yeah. So I'm hoping that I'm really looking forward to getting the Japanese car. I mean, yeah, I love Honda, guys, just so I'm saying. But I did call the Honda garage and said, "Can you, service my car?" And like, no. I was like, "Well, why?" I said, "Well, it's Japanese." I said, "Yeah, Honda's Japanese." Like, "Yes, but like we're European garage." And I said, "Yeah, but isn't every Honda car built in Japan?" It's like, "Yes, but we don't do it." I was like, "Okay." So it's just these stupid rules we have in this country where it's like, if someone is somehow not making shed loads of money on stuff, they just won't do it for you.
Yeah.
And it's like, sorry about that. But
just find a standard mechanic.
Oh,
I think.
I will.
Then
absolutely.
and just a bloke who's like, I'm a mechanic, and you're like, great. When you look at it, it's like, yeah, a car's a car.
Exactly.
I know how to maintain them, so I will look after it. You know.
So you may get my car review next week, the one that you didn't allow me to do, but I might still do it. So.
And I will edit it out.
But so that's me really.
Good.
Yeah. Any other news with you?
No, not really. Do you want to talk about some gaming news?
Yes, let's do it. Okay, let me get the iPad.
Great.
Now, it's been a relatively quiet week in gaming, Yusuf, apart from Thor Ragnarok. I haven't seen too much going on, but as usual, I try and find some exciting stories to bring you.
Thor Ragnarok? There's a game?
God of War Ragnarok.
You idiot.
Similar Norse, right? I mean, yeah.
God. I don't know what you're saying. Like, that film came out years ago.
It was a good movie.
That was a really good movie.
I like that one. I heard the most recent one is terrible.
I saw a bit of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not very good.
Yeah.
From what I saw.
Love and Thunder, come on. Who names a movie that?
I thought it was quite funny. I thought that would be quite good. Yeah. I thought the name of it would be quite good.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I love Taika Waititi. He's really good.
Yeah. I like the one. He did Ragnarok.
He did Ragnarok.
That was a good one.
He also did Jojo Rabbit. Did you ever see that?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, you told me about it.
Yeah, very good. Like, anybody who doesn't know, it's a bit of a weird film. It's like through the mind of a German child in the time of like Nazis, and he is like a member of Nazi youth, so he's kind of been brainwashed into things, and he thinks Hitler is his imaginary best friend, which is you're like, oh, how's that going to work? It's funny, and it also is really poignant as well. Yeah, it does. It really balances it quite well.
I must see that. Yeah, I haven't seen much of his stuff, but yeah. Look, Marvel. What can you say? I think they've taken a bad turn.
Yeah, they're falling apart.
Anyway. Okay, so my first story for you, Yusuf, is about the whole Activision acquisition by Microsoft.
Yes.
Have you heard much about it this week? A lot of word in the kind of community of the Fed having problems with it, other companies having problems with it. In this case, Sony, which is my story. But have you heard much?
There's a guy on YouTube. Video was recommended to me. I'd never seen anything by him before. But it was talking. He's like a lawyer in America, and he does like the legal cases of some stories, and actually some really interesting things about it. But yeah, let's see what you say first.
Well, so basically, the whole thing is that Sony are making the case that it'll be unfair if Microsoft get Activision because they'll have a monopoly on first-person shooters. Now, I thought that was a bit cheap, will I say? Because, you can develop a first-person shooter. Yes, they have existing IPs, but, there's no law on you stopping from coming out with a new first-person shooter, right? So I thought it was a little bit lazy, but I guess Sony have to do what they have to do to, be competitive. But the thing that I found funny about it is that this was a quote from what Sony said. Sony claims Microsoft's true strategy is to make PlayStation like Nintendo.
Oh, shade.
I found that a little bit of a dig, yeah. Now reading further into it, they do say that basically it's that Nintendo don't do any 18s plus first-person shooters. But, I thought it was a little bit of a dig, to the Nintendo side of things, saying that, look, we're the only real competitors here for real games is Sony and Microsoft, and, this will be unfair to competition if they get in.
Yeah.
But, so that was a comment that was apparently made to to the UK regulators and Competition and Markets Authority in a 22-page letter that they sent, giving their complaints as to how the acquisition would be unfair.
Right.
And I did hear that the Fed as well, if they're called the Fed, I'm not sure, the US department anyway.
They are,
yeah. Yeah, they were basically saying that there's going to be a complaint put in there as well about the potential acquisition.
Yeah, they're trying to do it in as many different regions as possible.
Yeah.
So the video I watched about the lawyer guy, he was saying that he doesn't think Sony would be pursuing this as hard as they are if they didn't think they would get something legitimate out of it. Yeah. But interestingly, Microsoft were saying basically that Sony point of like, hey, it's not unfair. Nintendo don't have don't have a COD on them.
True.
They still work.
True.
Well, I guess it depends on how big the market is, and really as in how big the COD market is to these developers. Yeah, well, one of the comments they made was that post-transaction, Xbox would become the one-stop shop for all the best-selling shooter franchises on console. Call of Duty, Halo, Gears of War, Doom, and Overwatch. And I did kind of feel that, look,
Gears of War and Halo have always been Microsoft games.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and Call of Duty is always cross-platform.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Doom is all... You can get Doom on Xbox as well.
I think what they're worried about, though, is with the recently buying them, that they will no longer, in a couple of years' time, they won't be on Sony. Yeah. And then they go, like, we won't get them anymore. Then you will have to go. Because, like, Overwatch is made by Blizzard.
Yeah.
So I guess they're afraid that, you know, they're kind of going, oh, look, we'll give you a deal. We guarantee they'll be cross-platform for, like, 5 years. And Sony are like, no. Because this is, you know, that's not even lifespan of a console.
Yeah, look, I get it, and I understand that it might be a case where it gives Microsoft like a head start, you know, if they suddenly pull these IPs from PlayStation. But come on, like, I mean, Sony have never been the kind to like throw the toys out of the pram when someone kind of, I mean, they just do their own shit. Like, I still remember when the PlayStation 4 first launched and Microsoft were going on about sharing games. And they were like, well, this is how you're sharing PlayStation, you just hand it over, you know, you do your own thing, you know, don't worry about what the other people are doing. And like, that's always, for me, has been Sony's attraction. You know, so I don't know. I guess they're just trying to go in any way they can to kind of kick away the competition. And I think they're a little bit worried about Microsoft.
Well, go on.
Yeah, because I kind of feel that they've, you know, the whole Game Pass is like, it's blown, I think it's blown PlayStation's offering out of the water. Now, I have a story and I'll get to something else later, but what do you think?
I think, like, well, Microsoft are just a much bigger company than Sony. Much bigger. Like, you know what I mean? The computing that they do is just, it massively dwarfs anything that Sony can do. And because of that, they can afford to, you know, take losses in certain areas and develop things in different ways. Generally, I think it's always good if something is forcing competition. It's stopping a monopoly because it just means things are always better for the consumer. And I think, the Game Pass is fucking brilliant. And it's because of that Sony had to do their own version of it. You know what I mean? And, but also the vice versa. The only reason Sony were never going to, as far as more implement the same thing about trading games back and forth. But when they made that video saying, oh, this is how you trade a PlayStation 4 game, that was in response to Xbox trying to stop us doing that. And because of that, Xbox weren't able to continue with that. So that's why competition is really good.
Absolutely. But I do think Sony's being kind of reactive, you know, rather than proactive and like having their own strategy. Like I you're saying, I think that the whole tiered membership they have now is a response to Game Pass, you know, definitely. Because I think Sony did the whole free game a month before
they did
Microsoft.
I don't know.
No?
Maybe they did.
Could be wrong.
They did,
yeah. Maybe around the same time, but it kind of seems like like you're saying, it's a response to what they're doing.
But I think this thing is in response to the fact that Sony can't afford to spend as much buying over a company in the same way Microsoft can.
True.
You know, they got to do different ways. But I think. So the PlayStation 3 was the worst selling of the Sony consoles, and I think that was across the board, you know, what's the term? Kind of making allowances for the technology at the time. I think that was the biggest drop in quality of games of it, because I think even though the 360 was, in my books, a better console than the PlayStation 3, I think when you didn't have those Japanese developers making Japanese games for the Japanese consoles, and I don't know exactly how it works, the relationships with it, the games were just better when they were PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 4, and I think PlayStation 5. I think they are the best ways. It seems like when Microsoft are kind of have that much kind of full control and there's not that pressure on it, I just don't think it's as good.
No, I agree. Totally. Yeah, good point. Okay, so look, we'll see how that develops. I mean, maybe the deal will be blocked. It's hard to say. Okay, so next story, Yusuf. We broke a record this week in the fastest ever selling video game.
I know it.
No, you don't.
Okay.
Go on.
Is it Pokemon Scarlet in Japan?
Yes, it's Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. The latest pair of Mon games.
Is that what they're calling it?
Apparently. Apostrophe Mon. So I'm not in with the kids anymore because I never heard that phrase before this story. Have sold over 10 million copies in just 3 days.
God. I hear I think 98% of the video games sold over the last week in Japan were all Pokemon.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Pokemon is such an incredible IP. I mean, it's amazing.
It's the biggest franchise in the world. And you see the other franchises that are there, it's like Disney, Pokemon's bigger. Hello Kitty and something else, where these have been going for like nearly 100 years, and
Yeah.
Pokemon's like, yeah, we've been around for 30.
Yeah.
We're the biggest in the world.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
It's like we do this one thing, but we fucking do a brilliant job of it.
It captures. I guess I just think it captures so much of what makes what garners interest from a person, right? Is like collectibles, uniqueness, battling, competition. You know, it's just so cool. It was such a great idea. You know?
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
I've heard a bit of criticism of it though.
Yeah,
I heard it's really good fun, but
buggy,
and they haven't really pushed graphically in the way other Switch games are.
But they've never made a good graphic league gameplay, say a Pokemon game.
Yeah,
never.
Yeah,
you know, and it's really confusing because, I remember when Pokemon first came out on a kind of major console. I think it was Pokemon Snap.
Right. Yeah.
On the N64, and I was kind of like, no one wants to play Pokemon Snap.
Yeah.
You know, people want to play battling Pokemon like they had in the Game Boy games. They just never gave us what we wanted. You know,
it was a bit weird, because they had Pokemon Stadium then, but as far as I'm aware, you battled your Game Boy characters in it, wasn't it?
I don't know.
I think that was it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure you could play with, even if you didn't have it, but it always seemed like it was a bit of a peripheral.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a bit. So I don't know. I think. I hate to say it because I love Nintendo, but I kind of think if anyone had hold of that IP, they would have done a lot more with it than we've had so far. But it is quintessentially Nintendo at the same time.
Yeah,
so it's hard to kind of imagine it as being an IP outside of that.
What would it be if it wasn't Nintendo?
Exactly.
Yeah. I get you. It's an odd one, yeah. It's I haven't played one of those games in a long, long time. But it's just the RPG mechanic of it is fun. It's just that level of, you were constantly getting reward, gamification of, here's a new character, here's a new Pokemon to use, and then every couple of levels, here's a new move that they learn. Whereas this one going to evolve? Oh, what's that one there? And that's constantly rewarding you.
And learning. Yeah, absolutely. But for comparison, how many copies of God of War, not Thor, Ragnarok, do you think sold in the first 5 days?
Oh God, I don't know. It's the second highest rated game on PlayStation. What's it? 1 million? 2 million?
5.1 million.
So about half of Pokemon.
Yeah. Wow. That's awesome though. Wow. So anyway, well done, Nintendo.
Yeah.
Congratulations, you still managed to stay around all the time. Okay, the last story I have for you, Yusuf.
Yes.
Is that PlayStation's CFO, what's his name? Never mind about his name. But the story is that the PlayStation Plus has lost nearly 2 million subscribers since its revamp. Initial thoughts?
Really? That's quite interesting because they haven't increased the price.
No.
It's the same, if you did the normal PlayStation Plus thing that was there before, you just got the lowest tier.
Yep.
You don't have to pay more.
Yeah.
If you don't want it, you could leave it like that.
Yeah.
It's interesting that people signed it, left it.
My opinion, and maybe I'm old, but I kind of think that the whole structure is a little bit convoluted and confusing for people. They're kind of okay, we've got these 3 tiers. You get some games in the second, but that you don't get in the third.
Yeah. You
get online players for all of them. You get some games in the first that you don't get in the second, or that's in the second that you don't get in the first. So it's kind of I don't know. It's they've kind of added unnecessary layers of not confusion, but just people just want to know, I'm going to get one fucking Game Pass and get the games, or I want to maybe get a premium, but to have 3 levels, for me, I upgraded mine recently because I had the base package, and
there's a Black Friday sale as well.
Is there?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, my kids wanted to play a Paw Patrol game, and I was going to download it, but then I saw that it was free with the second tier.
Right.
And it was cheaper for me to just upgrade to the second tier.
Yeah.
And I got a load of really cool games, I have to say. I'm really pleased with the second tier. In fact, the game that I'm reviewing today, I bought, and it was free with the second tier.
Oh, right.
So that kind of pissed me off, but I'm a sucker for physical copies.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, I don't know. So the CFO... What's his name? Guess what do you think he blamed on the fall in subscribers?
Cost of living crisis?
No, he said he blamed declining third-party game sales on PlayStation 4. No, he blamed declining third-party game and PlayStation 4 sales and more people going outdoors.
Oh, I think I saw something.
Have you seen the weather? You see how dark it is? It's not even 3 o'clock yet.
Maybe in summer, if that's the area they're looking at, but it's a bit much, isn't it?
Yeah. Hiroki Totoki blamed declining third-party game and PlayStation 4 sales and more people going outdoors.
You see, in Japan, I don't know if we talked about this before in the podcast, people were saying they were worried about the economy in lots of places. So their solution to it was they were trying to get young people to go out drinking. Saying young people don't drink anymore in Japan, so we need you guys to go out there and drink so that we can get people.
Do it for the team.
And they were saying like, you're one of the few countries that at the time were still close to tourists. Maybe you should bring them back in. They're like, no, you go out and drink. Go to a bar. It's like, don't have very much money.
My government actively encouraging me to go out and drink, so that's a turn for the books. But he as always, as all CFOs said, believe that things will improve next quarter.
That's interesting.
So we'll see.
It's weird because I think that thing is quite good, and actually, I wonder how this will work because the last couple of games, right? The next couple of games I want to play, I'm not going to buy them because I can see that they're available on a subscription thing if I upgrade it, and I've got the basic one anyway for playing online and for the free monthly games, because I don't think it's that expensive. But I do know what you mean. I wish it was a bit clearer to go. You look through it and you go, okay, here's the basic package, here's the middle one, here's the third one, and that you should be able to just go, okay, scan to the right and just see more games drop down, or at least the biggest ones. I know there's something like that. But it's very convoluted, isn't it?
There's too much information to present in a simple and straight way. Like, so I think it's definitely like a marketing problem. And to be honest, I think like the whole structure, the idea of it, they should have just had 2 tiers.
Maybe,
like maybe they want to add more options, but I kind of think that, look, if you want the base package, which is a free monthly game, online play, this is what you get.
Yeah.
If you want these whole host of games, pay the extra. But I kind of think that they didn't want to lose out on revenue on the people who didn't really want to pay the full amount. But wouldn't mind going a little bit more. But it just seems, I don't know, it seems a bit botched to me, the way they did it.
There's something about it doesn't really sit well. Maybe they must have just thought that the most expensive one was too expensive for everybody and they would lose out on people. But like, I guess the thing is, you shouldn't really be losing on people anyway though, because as far as I'm aware, well, maybe it's different from region to region, but as far as I'm aware, if you had the normal online package anyway, you just got extra games now with the new revamp thing. You didn't pay anything extra, you just got extra games that you could play to your library. And then I guess, if you wanted to pay more, you could get more. Like, that seemed like a good way of doing it. Especially some of them are like pretty modern, pretty big games. And like, because I know, for example, I wanted to play like Returnal and I wanted to play Demon's Souls, and I didn't want to pay, buy those games, if I could upgrade it and I play both of those games, which I wanted to play anyway, I'd make my money back.
Yeah, that's true. But then you also only have the digital version. So, I mean, if you want the physical version, like me...
I love the idea of physical version, but I will excuse digital version like this when I am saving money. Because I think it's fine. I think it's bollocks when you're going to buy... Like, for example, if I wanted to buy any of those games digitally on their own without signing up, it's insane how expensive they are.
Yeah. No,
but
absolutely.
If I'm paying for a subscription fee for it and I get that as well as loads of other ones, then I'm all right with it.
Yeah. No, I think we've kind of touched on this before, that most people these days seem to prefer the digital copies. I think we're a bit old school.
It seems to be.
I don't know. I suppose if you really want a game, you get it physically, but... if you're not bothered with collecting them.
I don't get that. I'd love to hear from other people why. Like, I understand for some people they go, their library it's too full if they don't have the storage for it. But you can delete the game, but while keeping the save copy, and then you can like re-download it, which I guess that's quite a good thing for it. But I don't understand why you wouldn't, based off the fact that, we can trade games to each other. We do it all the time. We can buy a second-hand game. We can buy a game and go, that wasn't great. I'll sell it back to the shop after you have it for like a month or two if you're like, that's not very good. I don't understand why some people are okay with going, I will get this game, I'll pay so much for it, and I can't do any of the things that we normally do with it.
Yeah. But maybe the membership tiers is the answer to this question, right? I mean, you don't want to commit to just buying a digital game, but you don't mind if it's part of a membership that you're paying for. So maybe that will solve the problem.
Because it's cheaper, but traditionally, for some reason, digital games have been more expensive than physical copies.
Which is just nuts. Makes no sense. But anyway. Okay, so that's all the news I have this week. Anything else you wanted to bring up, Yusuf?
We were talking about the Sony thing. They wanted to buy. They wanted to stop Microsoft buying Activision, and I was talking about the lawyer, the YouTube lawyer. I saw a couple of things where you were talking about the whole Doom thing. Did you hear about this?
No.
So it had to do with the guy who was the composer for Doom Eternal.
Yeah.
And they brought him back. He's done it on other ones. And he was basically got into a big public online spat thing saying that what was released originally wasn't what he chose. They say, but they kind of promised they would release his soundtrack along with a version of the game before they even hired him, and he was like, he didn't have time for it.
Okay.
They ended up using twice as much music as they paid him for. Loads of these little dodgy things. And it was a really interesting story, and I hadn't heard about it. But yeah, the guy on YouTube is a really interesting thing to see how some of that stuff works, and there's a similar thing with the whole Bayonetta voice actor thing. Yeah, which actually, from what I can see, maybe that wasn't quite as clear cut.
Someone telling lies to make themselves seem like they were the innocent party.
So the thing was, if you recall, she was saying that they offered her 4,000 quid to do the voiceover for the game. And apparently what they were originally doing is they offered her 4,000 per session, and they're going to bring her in for 5 recording sessions of a couple of hours.
That's pretty good.
And then after she wanted more, and then afterward they went, okay, we're going to get somebody else to do it. We will give you 4,000 quid as a one-off to be a cameo character. So that's what she possibly meant. I don't know how true that is. This is their word against her word. Generally, I'm always on the side of a individual person than a company. Yeah, because
to a fault.
Fuck corporates. No, absolutely not. I'm on the side of people. They're just like Santa.
So am I, but still.
But things aren't maybe as clear as they are. But I found that guy's YouTube channel very interesting. If I remember it, I will put a description in the video.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Always interesting to see other sides of the story. Yeah. Okay, I didn't think we'd get the word F corporates in this. I mean, I thought we were a little bit older, but Yusuf is still raging against the system, as you can see.
Right on.
Okay, so all right. We go to my first game.
Yeah, let's go.
All right, let's do this. Now.
Ooh. Your games all look exactly the same.
This does not look exactly the same as the last game I did.
No, they're all these side-scrolling Metrovania-looking games.
Well, this is a game that I played particularly for our audience because, Halloween was coming up. I realised it's a month after. But any idea what this is?
I don't know what this is.
What does it remind you of?
Castlevania.
Yes. And do you know why that is?
It's a Castlevania game.
Nope. It was made by, and I spelled his name wrong, Mr. Iragashi, who was actually the director for, I believe he was the director for the Castlevania series. He left Konami in 2014, and he kind of made this game. I love that. The way the level up goes, there all the ribbons coming in, but he did this as like a spiritual successor to the Castlevania series,
right?
And yeah, generally
this lead character's name backwards is Werewolf.
What?
Alucard.
Oh, I do. Yeah. But look at this. I love this background. It's just so atmospheric. It was so cool. Like some areas like this are just quiet. Like the story is terrible.
Oh no.
Really poor. I mean, I just had to skip most of it because it was just really, and you can see the way they're conversing here with just text. And it actually started as a Kickstarter, would you believe?
Right. This always seems so cheap to me.
Yeah, same here. But of course you have to have this super cool samurai sword wielding dude with emo hair and a red jacket.
I like
in every good game.
Like Dante.
Yeah, but so he raised 5.5 million to make this game, and very well received generally from Castlevania fans, and you can kind of see why. It looks pretty good still, even though it is not a big studio game.
The
gameplay was enjoyable. The the whole accessories thing was very enjoyable. You had such a range of weapons to choose from.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
Yeah, and you could change your appearance. You have these things called like shards, and they give you special abilities. You can see here, and the thing was that you actually get each shard from defeating an enemy.
Right.
And you get like different ones. Like sometimes you might defeat an enemy 5 or 6 times before you actually get it. But I love this here. I love when you mess with the backgrounds. It kind of makes something that's 2D look 3D.
Yeah,
right? It's just so good. It looks so great. Like, but yeah, I thought you'd enjoy this enemy. It doesn't take itself too seriously at times.
Good, because I mean, like they made him look particularly adorable there.
Yeah, and here we go.
Oh no!
He's just a dog head. He was very irritating to defeat, but you can actually see that I have this little fairy there with me.
Yeah.
That's a familiar. And you can see how wacky some of these enemies were, right? I mean, I really love when games do this, when they kind of just mix things up and like mess with the backgrounds, give you giant enemies, give you these kind of funny characters to play against. But you have these familiars. You can see there he's the Silver Knight. And they basically help you. They level up as well.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, they kind of add that spice to the game. Here's where I'm fighting a giant man-eating slot machine. This was really funny because sometimes you can just let him spin, and if you spin 777, he gives you an item and he just dies.
That's cool.
But you can see like cannons coming out of the ceiling. It's so wacky, like it's so Japanese, right? That whole Japanese wackiness. But I was pretty sure, you look at the portrait in the background there, I bet you that's someone who's worked on the game. Because I've kind of looked at, like, there's a lot of portraits in this game that kind of come alive and try and attack you. And they all just look like real people.
Right, okay, yeah.
You know, but the one thing that I didn't really like about this game was the fact that there's no real blocking. You know, now, Castlevania didn't really have that either, right?
Yeah.
But you're given an ability where you can kind of hold a shield out in front of you, but it just didn't feel fluid enough, you know? The dynamic wasn't well enough worked. And another thing that did irritate me was the fact that you only got a dash at the very end of the game.
Right.
And I just have no patience. Like, what do you think of movement speed generally? It's not great.
It seems a little slow. Yeah.
And like when it is that slow, it can kind of take away from the whole dynamic of the game, right?
Yeah.
Enjoyment. I mean, I love if she was a little bit faster and you can move a little bit quicker around. I would have given this probably a 9 out of 10. But you can see here when you kill an enemy, you get a shard.
Yeah.
And then you learn that ability.
That's quite good.
But there was
That's true of a Castlevania game, isn't it?
What?
Where you get like an ability off enemies.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I mean, it is basically like Castlevania, right? It's very much there's the block. You see there the where, but I have to hold the button to do that, and it was awkward. But you can see the boss battles were just so much fun.
Very cool.
You think you're facing one, then you run back and there's another one, and they're both part of the one beast. But
that's very cool. Yeah,
like the boss battles were just so varied and so just so weird, and it's a very difficult game. You know, it's one of those games where you can just be killed by anyone really if you're careless, and it doesn't have an autosave. So you have to save in locations manually and like there's times where I would have forgotten to save, or I'd been getting too in depth into a new region and I just had to start again. It was so frustrating.
This is on the PlayStation, yeah.
This is on the PlayStation 5, yeah. Right. I think it was out on the Switch as well. I think it was in 2019. But this was really funny. This is one of the enemies. I actually completed this game 99% Yusuf, would you believe?
Oh.
And I had to, in order to fight him, I had to complete it 99%. He's a librarian, and he's the hardest guy in the game.
Right, he's like super boss.
Yeah, and you know why he attacks you?
You damage his books.
You forgot to return the book.
All right.
So you actually have to go away with his book and not return it, and then he shows up here, and you can see that weapon I have, and that's a nod to a similar weapon in Castlevania, and where it's not that strong, but it does you see how many multiples I'm hitting there each time. So and yeah, look, I really enjoy the as I said, these boss battles. Like they were so varied, and there were optional endings as well. I finished the game like really quickly, and it was a terrible ending. It was like she just kind of wound up outside the castle, and he's like, "Oh well, I guess what'll happen to all the other demons?" She's like, "I'm not sure." And it's like the end.
Okay.
So in order to finish it well, you have to like kill all the bosses, like do a lot of optional stuff. And it is one of those games where I'm not gonna lie, I did have to look up stuff because I literally had no idea how to get what I needed to get. Right. I'm not talking about beating an enemy. I'm talking about like where
to go.
Exactly. Yeah. Where do I get the next thing, and how do I actually get 100%? And there's a little kind of retro game inside, and the boss in this level was ridiculously difficult. But I just thought it was it was a really enjoyable game. Pretty different to what I played recently.
Is it?
I think so. I do. I mean, but yeah, I didn't even give you the name of the game. It's called Bloodstained, Ritual of the Night.
Right. Okay.
So you can see again the Castlevania on there, right? But really good game, but had some definite flaws. So I'm gonna give it a 7.5 out of 10.
Okay. It does look like it's good fun. I think, like the no blocking thing, like quite often that's a choice by games. Some games they don't want you to block. You know?
Yeah.
They'll.
But if you're not able to block, then be more nimble.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, defo. Yeah.
That's for me. Like, you know, I want to feel like if I'm being hit, it's my fault rather than the character being slow.
Yeah.
You know,
you feel like it's just. Yeah, that it's not responsive enough for you to be able to deal with.
Exactly.
Because I remember there was a thing with so like with the original Demon Souls and Dark Souls games, like you hold the shield up quite often, and you kind of work out, okay, you do that, and you take your time to strike. And then when they did Bloodborne, it was quite different. Where they're like, no, you don't have a shield anymore, and you're way quicker, and it's all about if you get hit, you need to go and attack faster, but it's like the gameplay and the combat is so different because of that. But if you don't really have it, then it feels a bit
exactly
awkward for it. But it looks really good fun.
Yeah, I'd recommend it. And as I say, it's free with the second tier of PlayStation membership. I don't even know the name of the tiers. So that shows you how confusing it is.
It's like something extra and premium, I think.
Yeah, but anyway, second tier.
Yeah, so. Well, it looks quite good. Was it quite complex, the whole battle system? Looks like there was a lot going on there, with as in different items and abilities and.
Not the most complex, to be honest, but I mean, it was all about what you liked, you know. So the kind of attacks that you liked, the kind of magic that you liked, like you know what you gravitated you towards in terms of your style of play. You could use like projectile weapons, you could use whips, you can use swords, you can use all kinds of stuff. So it's basically your build, right? But
I like that variety.
Yeah, it's good, but like as I say, just. If they brought the dash in earlier in the game, I would have enjoyed it so much more because it's literally like the last area where you get it. And I was like, guys, come on.
I always feel like I always get lost in games like that. I don't know why. It's just something about you're saying like I need to look up. It's like I just don't know where to go. I don't know what ability I need to use in a certain area, or just there's something I missed. And you look at videos of it and you're just like, oh, that was a door.
Yeah, exactly. Or there's stuff hidden behind a wall you have to break, and you have no idea. And it's just this little point somewhere, like when you're jumping. It's like anyway.
That's a door.
Yeah, exactly. But so 7.5.
Okay, that looks pretty good.
Okay, will we do your game now?
Let's see mine.
All right.
So this game, do you recognize it?
It's Dark Souls?
It is Dark Souls 3.
Oh.
So this is a game which I played a long time ago.
Is this meant to be happening?
I think this is probably just buffering on your laptop because it's probably playing off the USB.
Oh,
it's quite a big file.
Yeah. Sorry, yeah.
So this Dark Souls 3, which I played a long time ago, and then I just got an urge to play it again.
Okay.
I know that you played Dark Souls 1, you couldn't really get into it.
Yeah.
So the reason why I wanted to play this one, and I like this more than the original Dark Souls.
Okay.
I kind of like it more than Bloodborne 2, is that I like how quick it is.
Okay.
As you can see.
Yeah.
We're exactly what we were just talking about. I feel like this game is a much faster game. You can go slow if you want, depending on your build, but I really like that you can go quick, and it just feels like there is a real achievement when you do things well, when you get certain, when you take down a really big enemy, or when you're able to, just, you know, when you go into a boss initially and they destroy you the first time, and then you get hit straight away and you go, how was I meant to survive this at all? And then, 5-6 times later, you're like, oh, I don't get hit by that in the slightest. And you're like, oh, right. And you feel like you're really doing something. So I went and I picked this up, and I've included later on a bit of post-game stuff from when I finished the game, just to show how big this game is. So this is the boss.
Okay, wow.
So this is time I do quite well, but I die in it, right? And you just see how, like, okay, when I got my positioning right, I actually know exactly where to stand. It's not too bad, and it's going okay, and I do a lot of damage to him. And then he kills me because of how quickly this game does absolutely destroy you.
I always wonder in games like this how difficult it is to tailor, because I like Nioh and stuff, it's exactly the same. Like, you have to actually analyze their movements and learn them and stand a certain distance and all. Like, is that always by design, that they look out sometimes?
I think it's really good design, and I think the fact there's something about these games which clearly it's got some sort of pull to it, and you can see that because of, if you ever look at speedrunners, there is a huge community of people who just play these games again and again and again. And, people do it with Mario 64. People do that with, like, Ocarina of Time. People do it with games which they love for some reason. And these games are one of them. And when you see these games, you're like, God, it was so impossible to be able to do that. And you get through it with the skin of your teeth.
Yeah.
Like, look how close this guy is to being dead.
Yeah.
And, as I said, he gets me.
Not yet.
But, like, I took down so much of his health at the beginning, and now I'm gone. That's it.
Yeah. This is exactly like Nioh is. It's like any enemy can kill you at any time if you're impatient in any way,
You need to learn about it. But the thing is, I have such a weird relationship with these games compared to any other game. Where before I played any of these games, I watched somebody play it. I watched a Let's Play series where they went through all these games, and if I didn't, I wouldn't like it at all. I would bounce off it, which is such a strange thing to do because I know that like some people, they love these games, they love playing them, they're going on to, you know, community boards and Discord and chatting about it and learning about different things. I don't enjoy that. If a game's got a good story, then let me know. This is the kind of game which might seem like it doesn't have a good story, but it does.
Really?
But you gotta look for it.
Okay.
Everything's all hidden, everything's all done well together. Right. So this is my post-game. I fully played the game, fully did everything.
Different build there, alright.
Exactly. Because I wanted to show how much freedom you have, how different you can play if you want to play, and how it doesn't actually have to be this like grinding slow game. It could be like, it's a weird game. Like I've got a giant flaming sword there. Yeah. You know, and it's like, okay, I can play this game and have a lot of fun while playing it. You know, where you can just swing a two-handed sword really quickly. You can get like a dual blades and you can go really quick. If you don't want to do any of that, you can go fully like magic build where it's like you can keep a complete distance away from things. And it's really fun. It just makes you want to go and play it again and again.
Well, you're super leveled up here, though, aren't you?
I am leveled up. Yeah, I'm OP here. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But like the thing is, you can do that because the thing is, people are like, "Oh, these games are hard." It's still an RPG. You can just level up. Yeah. Like there's nothing that stops you doing that. There is a point where it becomes, you can't get so leveled up that everything is, you know, piss easy. There's still a challenge to the game, which I love though. Yeah, I love being able to.
You do want that. How many hours do you put into it?
In this one, I'm not sure. Maybe like 60 or so.
Oh wow! More.
Yeah, no, not on my replay there, on my original one. But I did the whole game. I did the whole extra thing, and some of it is quite nice.
It looks nice. Yeah, it looks nicer than the first for sure. There's a little bit, more charm.
The first is an older game. It's a lot slower. This one is a much faster game. Like, you know,
that thing's scary looking. I always hate tall enemies. They just freak me out.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of these things here. But like this is like, I've got a two-handed weapon where like one's a really long sword, one's a little short dagger, and then like you fight like mental. Like you run on the ground and you like duck down and like, you know, like almost like a dog ducking under things and like sweeping it around. It's it's a very different game. Here I am dressed like a bishop with a like a spear. So if you just want to do it differently, you can do. Yeah. And it's really good fun. It's a really enjoyable game. Okay. But if I picked it up and just played it, I wouldn't like it.
Okay. So you need to know about how the world and the dynamics work before you will enjoy it.
I think so. Now not everybody, because a lot of people play these games the first time and they love them. And I know that's a bit weird, but I want to keep playing these games again when I finish it. I want to go and do it again. I want to try other weapons and other builds. And things are hard. But because you can die at any enemy, the accomplishment you feel when you get through something, and when you go in the first time and it's like, oh, I killed this enemy, oh, he's getting up again, oh, I killed him, oh, they're getting up again. When you're like, I couldn't survive the first 5 seconds on the first one, and then when you do it the third time, when you beat them the 3 times through, you're like, okay, this is fantastic, and I really feel like I did that by being good at the game.
Do you ever think that like the appeal to these games is the chance that you'll get a super high powered sword? And it'll suddenly make an impossible game much easier. For me, that's what I find, like with Nio and stuff. I was like, oh, I might get a purple sword now. I might get a purple sword. And it'll make the stuff easier, like, you know, because it's just so unforgiving to the point where you never feel high-powered. And you're like, I just want to feel high-powered for a few minutes, you know?
I mean, like, well, I don't know about Nio, because I know it seems it is a Souls-like game. Yeah. But it's not a FromSoft game, so I think they're different. Okay. I think they really are different in how they play. Because I played other games which claim to do the same thing, but there's something about the balance of these ones. Like, this is, you know what I mean? Like, when you think about this game, if you don't play them, you don't think about having, like, a super powerful sword that sends a hurricane out. You know?
That's true. That's true. Have you shifted here into some other kind of being or something? Or is it just your build?
Just my different armor.
Oh, okay.
It's like, and that's what I mean is that, you know, this game, you know,
what happened there?
An enemy hit me with a fireball.
Where?
Under the ground.
Under the ground.
With this guy.
Oh, okay.
See, like that's like these games aren't these slow, dark caverns where you're crawling through and there's no enjoyment out of it. They can be really fun. They can be really quick and wild. And I find this game a lot more forgiving than the other ones in that, you know, you can have a high up bar. You can heal yourself quite often. Yeah. Whereas, like, I played Dark Souls 2 was the first time I played, and I didn't enjoy that at all. And I don't think that's a good game.
How is this esteemed in the Souls community?
I think it's quite well liked.
Okay.
I think this is quite an enjoyable one. So the thing is, Dark Souls 1, everyone loved. Dark Souls 2, some people didn't like. Some people absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
But it didn't really keep on any story or any linking to the first one. This one did. This one is very linked to the first one.
Oh, okay.
If you read the items and if somebody explains the lore to you, because otherwise I wouldn't know what the hell's going on.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Yeah. But like here I am running with a giant flaming sword. You know? And that's fun.
Yeah, no, it is. Do you know what? Look, when the stamina bar goes down when you're running, I just really hate that because I'd love to be able to run non-stop. Do you know what I mean? But I get it. I get it's a game dynamic. It's just, so far, it just hasn't gotten me yet. But, I mean, it could. Right?
Stamina management can be a pain in the hole. But, like, they're different games, you know?
Yeah.
Like, the thing is, if it's one where you just want to be wild and frenetic and you're running around all over the place, and that's not what this game is. That's not, you shouldn't play this game for that.
Yeah.
But I think in what is being a challenge and then being able to enjoy what you're playing and being able to kind of feel like I succeeded here, I got better at that. This game does it. And you know, when you see, you're like, you think you know how this game works, and then you see somebody else do something, you're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
That's not how I play this.
I do actually like that.
Yeah.
A bit of YouTube video, like, my God, I've been here for 4 hours and it's just all you have to do is step to the left and slice. Like,
yeah. Or like, I remember seeing somebody speedrun Donkey Kong and Donkey Kong Country in the first. You know when you get into the mining carts?
Yeah.
And it's such a hard level. And if you just the first, like, you run like 2 characters and you jump over a hole in the ground. If you fall down there, you get in a cannon and it shoots you to the end of the level. It's like, I spent days dying on that mine cart. Yeah.
Rare is so good.
Skip the whole thing if you want. Like, you
know. But, so what's your rate, Yusuf?
I give it a good, 8.5 out of 10.
8.5. Okay.
8.5 out of 10. Like because it is weird and it does certainly have faults and it can be quite hard to know what's going on and it kind of asks you to do stuff without really telling you to do it either. You know what I mean? As in, it's like if you want to know some more things or some secrets in this game, you need to know it by reading every item thing and connecting them up. And sometimes you're like, I didn't think that's what that meant at all. You know?
Yeah.
So I think it has to lose some points from that. But when I saw somebody play it who loved it and explained what was going on, then I got it and I'm like, that's actually genius.
Okay.
Just when you do some of the extra endgame bosses, it's so much fun.
All right. Well, look, I'm not hating it, so you never know. Might check that out. I wonder if that's free on one of the passes, actually.
I don't know. Well, Demon Souls is, so I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Is that the newest one?
That's the newest remake one.
Okay.
Not Elden Ring. Elden Ring is the actual
one
latest one. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, nice one. Yes, we've both kind of had. Would you describe this as a horror theme? Maybe not.
Maybe a little bit. I don't know. You could do it.
We'll say it was. These are our Halloween games for you this year, guys. And hopefully we'll have... Actually, the next game I'm doing at the moment is a bit kind of similar. So it's Halloween-y as well. Well, I won't say Halloween-y, but it's a bit, yeah.
Is it a side-scroller?
No, it's not a side-scroller.
Okay.
It's full world motion.
Okay.
So you're going to enjoy this one. But so listen, guys. Thank you so much, as always, for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and as always, we love each and every one of you, especially you, Daisuke. Anything else?
If you want to get in contact, please do at presstheactionbuttonpod@gmail.com or comment under the YouTube if you want to talk to us about anything. We would love and appreciate it. If not, just enjoy the show.
Yes, sir. Sirs or madams. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. And as you can see, it's actually getting quite dark now.
Yeah.
Because Yusuf destroyed that light bulb, so we'll have to get a new one for next week. It's coming down to Yusuf's paycheck.
No, it is not. You get paid?
You know.
All right. Thanks, and we'll see you
guys.
then.
Bye.
Bye.